like you're summoning a kraken or something.
Summon the
gave the command,
Krieg.
but Craig
Okay, we're live.
The Kraken!
The
Oh,
Kraken? Oh, that's worse.
Oh no.
Oh,
And also,
I mean-
Craig has not actually joined.
no.
It could be worse. It could be summon the Karen.
Oh,
That's a different campaign.
it is.
It is.
It is.
It is, and I'm looking forward to listening in on that one again. So, as I've said, we're live. Craig has not yet joined us, but that's okay because I'm recording locally, so there's that. I have remembered to press the record button in spite of not being remembered. What a wonderful GIF you found, Chris.
You're welcome.
Is that who I think it is? Is that Dan Avidan? I think it is. But in any case,
Maybe.
hello and welcome to Critical Recovery. This is a 5th edition homebrew Dungeons & Dragons campaign set in a persistent world where a bunch of other campaigns play in it as well, all currently run by me because I'm a control freak like that. With me are a bunch of awesome people, including, but not limited to, Chris, Ellie, Eo, Jen, and Cindy. Archbeth is listening in chat, and LFA is yeeting in chat with spaces between the letters to make sure the yeet stands out more. Or all caps. Combinations. Multiple yeets are occurring. A variety of yeets. A yeet cornucopia, if you will. I don't know how all the harvested fruits and vegetables are staying within that cornucopia thing as it's being yeeted, but maybe two-sided tape. I don't know. This intro's going on for pretty long. What happened last time?
Talia and Fava had a very brash discussion about mind reading, and Fava consented to have her mind read.
Yeah, it was a very interesting conversation, wasn't it?
We met a dragon, which I did not get to fight at all.
Oh, right.
If you ask nicely, they'll let you fight the next one.
Gorga
That
was.
is a bold statement considering my initiative modifier.
I mean,
Gorga showed that she is the MVP of her party by hiding and running away.
And we saw the person we're looking for run away from a corner. But Gorga
and
was
Vex
kind of
almost died.
on the ground at the time.
Right.
Vex is not like my imp. Find familiar. Not very good with the fire.
I mean, Vex is a pseudo-dragon. They're not even CR1. He's got like 7 hit
Yep.
points.
So yeah. But he was saved.
I like the conversation happening in Twitch chat right now. Vex needs a teeny tiny protection vest.
Oh,
Gorga will put together a vest that has several red circles on the back of varying size nestled within each other.
I love that. I think we should have Morley make the vest. Morley's the
Talia.
one with tailoring experience.
Weaving.
Yeah, but Talia likes Gorga's idea for the vest.
Just put it on somebody else, like maybe a skull that's on fire.
Or a certain dragonborn.
Or a certain dragonborn. Okay. So, with that said, at the end of last session, I did tell everyone they could take the long rest, but we're going to have a conversation that takes place before the long rest, where, as everyone's bunking down for the evening, Thava taps Talia on the shoulder and says, "You got a moment?"
Sure, why not?
Okay. And you go over to another area of... Now, are you bunking down inside the factory or outside the factory?
If the dragon's dead, I'd vote for inside, because it's shelter.
Thought it was inside last time.
Just-
I'm trying to remember. I think
My assumption is that would be inside, but
I
then
think
you
so,
are
yeah.
bunking down inside a semi-working factory powered by magma.
Right.
I kind
And
of
it might be
thought we'd
collapsing,
go
so-
up a bit. Do we know if this is the only entrance? If it is, we might want to stay, just inside the entrance of the mine.
You don't know if the opening you went through is the only entrance. You do know that the entrance was heavily modified by something tearing it open to be much larger than it was before. Which is weird because the dragon was a younger red dragon. They were about medium-sized. Officially by D&D stats, they were medium-sized.
Oh no.
Where's Mama?
That's what I'm wondering.
Mm-hmm.
I think we want to be outside this place.
Especially since the structure of this building looks like it's going to collapse at some point, and I do not want to go through that again.
Well, it hasn't fallen down yet, but I see where you're
There
coming
is
from.
always that, though. It is yet until it crashes.
Fair point. Okay, so you set up camp outside the structure, next to something that's leaning away from you rather than towards you. Let's put it that way. So some shelter from the wind is provided. And basically, for this conversation, Talia and Thava walk a short distance away and around a corner, but you're still outside. And Thava says, okay, you have something you want to take care of?
Oh, now.
Well, I figure before the long rest would be a good time to do it.
Very well. Summons a sword and casts Detect Thoughts once again.
Okay. Thava's surface thoughts are that she understands the importance of this, and she really wants to get it over because she was not lying about it causing a headache.
I probe.
Okay. The thoughts immediately go to, yes, I was right. And let's put it this way. Thava is very angry. She's like Bruce Banner from the first Avengers movie. She's angry all the time. She doesn't show it outwardly, but she is just constantly incredibly incensed and hurt and betrayed. Now, granted, she helped Malthomax betray a heck of a lot of people. That was the thing. That's what Greens do. And she, as a Green Dragonborn that was sworn into the service of Malthomax, was fitting with that vibe.
Mm-hmm.
She was the most trusted of Malthomax's servants.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of it, she was left as cannon fodder to use up a few spell slots for the band of adventurers that were knocking on Malthomax's door. She wants Malthomax to suffer. She wants Malthomax in the Nine Hells with Tiamat, suffering because Malthomax opposed Tiamat's will. Malthomax tried to rise up to be the level of a god, and therefore no longer be going to Tiamat in the afterlife. And also she didn't. Malthomax was killed, but she didn't go to the Nine Hells where Tiamat is. Scrying hasn't revealed where she's gone, and that's not right. Tiamat needs to suffer the way Thava suffered, only worse. And if Thava wasn't sworn at this point to Argonia, she would probably be seeking out the Raven Queen herself, because she sees the Raven Queen as a being that could help with this. The stuff you've been doing recently that hasn't been specifically investigating whether or not the Kraken can come back ostensibly relates to that. But more importantly, Thava very much wants to get into the good graces of the Raven Queen, because the Raven Queen and her servants, hi Talia, how are you?
Hi.
Might be able to do something about Malthomax. And oh, by the way, if we manage to do that thing with the Kraken, that's nice too. But that's a means to an end. And that's what you get. That's what you get when you probe deeper.
I break the link. Invigorating.
Did you find what you wanted?
I found answers. Those answers obviously entailed more questions.
The best answers always do.
True. But we're on the same page for now. You've lived a hard life, dear. You've lived hard lives.
A lot of it was my own doing, to be sure.
Yes, very much so. I didn't want to bring that up, but now you have. Really? A green father, dear.
You do see what I am, right? It's in my nature.
Oh, no, I know. I see exactly what you are. I know plenty of Dragonborn who don't follow their more barbaric ancestors, the dragons. I expect better.
You know, we're not descended from dragons on this world, right?
Didn't actually know that.
No. We're a created race made from human stock and a lot of secret experimentation, so the story goes.
This world gets more twisted and dark every time I hear a little bit of its history. You know that?
Oh, wait until I tell you about what used to happen to tieflings.
You and I have many conversations coming up.
I'm sure. They'll all be off camera, but yes, they will have many conversations. Yes. Okay. So with that, you go back to the rest of the party, have your long rest, press that glorious long rest button. Do not level up because I did not tell you to level up. And It's the next day.
All right.
Well, I saw the guy we're looking for. They ran around a corner. We should-
Bright
Yes.
and early, everyone.
And they're probably not here anymore.
I was going to say, yes, laying there still half asleep, and they're probably about 10 miles down whatever way they went.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm
if we
gonna
want to track them, we've got to start somewhere.
I'm going to argue that you did have a scheduled order of someone standing watch, so that took place. We just didn't put that into the RP. Fava points out that the Nagpa is probably not going to get incredibly far, but running immediately after them is probably going to be worse than investigating this area first. It's a good idea to see what's here, to see what was left behind. And oh, by the way, you just killed a dragon. There's probably some treasure.
Yeah, okay, fair enough. Should we start with the big pit then?
I'd honestly rather not. I mean, if you have a magical means for moving all of that dirt and rock that's in there, fantastic. But I don't feel like grabbing a shovel and a pitchfork.
I
I'd
don't
rather
think you
take...
do much digging with a pitchfork.
The point is, why don't we check inside the factory for the stuff that's already dug up? And possibly any magical items that have been left behind.
And while you do that, I'll brew coffee. Talia's looking like she hates life because she just woke up.
Oh,
Not
my
a
assumption
morning
is you're having this
person.
conversation over coffee.
Oh, that works, yeah.
That works too. I'll brew more.
All right, into the factory then. And
I know Talia is far from a morning person.
Vex goes up to
I
Talia's
feel-
coffee and does the thing that cats do where he puts his paw directly in the middle of it and pats it.
Oh, no.
Oh no. I feel like Ryan, if they didn't take first watch, probably took, like, the final watch. They're a morning person.
Total opposites
I
going
feel,
on there.
yeah, I was gonna say Talia would
Oh.
have probably took the last watch to make sure she was not up in it. No, the
Oh,
first watch
that's
was to
fair,
make sure she
that's
was not
fair.
up. I mean, Talia would have took the first watch to make sure she was up late and not up like super early.
Gorga will take whatever watch people think she needs to take.
Morley will do the same, having no idea what he's supposed to watch for.
That's terrifying.
He's not an adventurer. This is all new to him.
Death, it's everywhere. Over there. Death. Actually, that's a possum. Over there. Death. Actually, that's a squirrel.
That's a pine cone, dear.
A pine cone of death.
He might know what a pine cone is, maybe, but, you know.
Okay. Scream if you get attacked, Morley. Yes.
Absolutely. No doubt about this. I will
I don't-
scream
I-
so loud I will wake the dead. Which maybe that's not good.
Well, maybe don't do that because I know what's in that pit. Okay.
Because
So-
we're still out and about, Talia will just automatically, as instinctively, mage armor herself just to make sure if anything does happen, she's good.
Okay. So you're up, you're caffeinated, you've had breakfast, and you head in. So the factory, I described it last week, but as a refresher, it is what you would see in any movie where you see people running around inside a factory in some type of shoot 'em out scene where the floors are that metal grating where if you drop something, you're never getting it back, and you can sort of see to other levels, but your vision is obscured enough that it makes it be more maze-like, not less, to know there's other levels above and below you. And every now and then, like, random steam comes out of a pipe that has no purpose other than to have random steam come out of a pipe. And you're walking around for a while. I will ask, let's see. I'll ask Gorga to give me a perception check because her perception is so high anyway.
25.
Okay. Give me a second here. Oh, wonderful. Okay. You find a room that it had some double doors on it at one point. The doors are gone. There is actually a pile of burnt, broken rubble that's around the space where these double doors were. The frames have not been damaged. Nothing bigger than a set of double doors came through it, unlike the front entrance. But
That
the
dragon's
rebel...
not getting his security deposit back.
Well, true. But in this particular case, the rebels piled up to sort of make the front entrance be more of like the bottom half of a circle, if you were drawing it very roughly in a moving car with a suspension problem. If you look through the double doors, you actually see a pile of uncut diamonds. They seem to be set down almost like a nest where it's like a depression in the middle of it with sides that rise up a little bit, like something was sleeping on top of it, maybe. And because this room also has that same grading where if you drop something you can't get it back, there seems to be scrap wood that's been put down to create a kind of platform on which the diamonds have been placed.
Hey guys, I found some diamonds.
Hey, Zuda, you need those for something, right?
Do I? That's an in character and out of.
Not yet. I think we're level short for your requirement of those. Out of character.
Also,
Ryan only knows that clerics res people. Ryan does not know when clerics res people or what the requirements for the diamonds are.
300 gold diamond for a 5-minute limitation on it. Something like that.
Well, they'll be handy to have anyway.
Now, these are uncut diamonds, so they're not as valuable as the stuff you'd find in a jewelry store, but yeah, figured I'd tell the party. If no one else is taking any, I'm going to take a handful.
Okay.
Morley goes over and picks one up, having never seen before.
Okay. They are, for the most part, they're roughly spherical. Not very spherical, but roughly spherical. There's spots that have flat edges. It looks like a marble that's been left in a parking lot over a weekend. And people have driven over it a bunch of times. Not that you would have any idea what that is.
Right. I
although,
know that.
although Morley is from the particular region that is most industrialized without having a large gnomish population. So if anyone understood driving over things in a parking lot in this party, it would be Morley.
This is also why he was so worried about the factory collapsing.
I mean, that happened in Bardia. Most of the factories were destroyed outright.
Well,
they got better. And by better, I mean they didn't rebuild the factories. Well, It looks like Morley hasn't triggered any defensive mechanisms, so it looks like...
Oh, I didn't think of this. I did not think someone would track diamonds. I mean...
Well, it's also why none of us walked in there yet. But now you have, and you're still breathing.
Okay.
So it's probably okay.
The defense mechanism was the dragon we already killed.
Boom.
Uh-oh.
Please tell me that was a joke.
As soon as Gorga says dragon, everyone roll me a dexterity saving throw.
Uh-oh. Okay.
Oh, no.
I have rolled a 20 plus 3.
Okay, you're fine.
Well,
not fine,
20,
fine.
Yay!
I see a 15, a 25, a 23, and a 9.
Oh.
Guess who rolled the 9, players at home?
I am not dexterous, okay?
For some reason, D&D Beyond is giving me 25s today, and I am not going to complain.
As Archbeth says, the only one with wings.
I don't have them right now.
That's true.
Okay, so you will all take half damage from the fireball that erupts.
I have some fire resistance.
Which I rolled low, so congratulations. And now, okay, I see the names that EO has put in Discord, and that's fantastic. But here's the thing. Mentally, I was literally going through a list of every character that EO has played in any of my campaigns before I finally got to Rhine.
Oh.
Don't be sorry. You've been in a lot of the campaigns, and they're very fun characters to have. But I was like, okay, so Tiny... No. Zeely... No, not Zeely.
Also, if Zeely was here, I do not think Zeely would be taking very much fire damage.
True.
It would be causing the fire damage, let's be honest.
Yeah.
Yes. Zeely would be the source of the fire damage in most cases. So...
Zeely sees the fireball trap and goes, "You call that a fireball?"
So Rhine, in this particular case, is taking 7 points of fire damage from the fireball that erupts. Everyone else is taking half a 7 rounded down, so everyone else takes 3 points of fire damage. Also, the wooden platform...
Morley takes 1.
Oh yeah, Morley takes 1 point because it's rounded down again because tieflings take half damage from fire already.
Okay.
Fire resist.
Yes. However, you know what's not fire resistant? Scrap lumber.
Oh no.
Son of a...
The platform is incinerated, and there is a sound of a waterfall of diamonds pouring into a space below you.
Someone open their bag of holding.
I don't think I have one.
That's a lot of diamonds.
I'm gonna try to grab a handful of diamonds before
Yeah,
they all disappear.
I am grabbing as much as I can.
Okay, give me a sleight of hand check.
I'm not making this casually
I got
stealthy
a
at all.
12.
Just grabbing.
Well, no, because I am using sleight of hand to determine how much of a handful you can grab.
I got an 18.
Okay, you got
here.
18 uncut diamonds. Congratulations.
Nice. Dwarf
Can I
dice
take that
are
to mean
good.
I got 12?
Sure.
Let's see. Other possessions.
And
Uncut,
Morley
yeah.
has the one that Morley picked up to take a look at.
Yes. Yes. Just walked in and picked one up.
Now, it could be worse. When I said boom, Archbeth in Twitch chat immediately thought that I was talking about something large
Another
this way
dragon?
comes. But no,
Oh,
the boom was a fireball,
Mm.
which upon post-inspection seems to have originated from a certain spot on the ceiling where something had triggered. And it's something, but Gorga's got incredibly high past perception. Gorga would have noticed something was there. So probably somebody cast invisibility on whatever glyph was there to trigger when someone said the word dragon inside the room where a dragon was sleeping.
Have I mentioned I hate magic?
I'm getting too old for this.
To be fair, any conversations between Horribin and the dragon probably would have been in Draconic, and Gorga said dragon in common. So they're different words. So they wouldn't have triggered it.
Ryan puts a hand over their face and restores 4 hit points.
Wait, very quick point, because you said 7 damage. Was Vex in the room, and did Vex succeed?
Oh,
That's a very good question. Thank
Because
you
you
for reminding
said
me.
you also said Vex had 7 hit points.
I did say that. So I am going to make a roll. Nat 20.
Vex is
The dice
super
I'm
OP.
using had the giant bee show up. Oh, that is glorious. And in case you don't believe me,
Oh, we believe.
I know, but still. I rolled it on Thala's character sheet as well. But I just used the random thing for a d20. But in any case, so Vex does take damage. Vex takes 3 points of damage and looks very upset. Like, again? Really? But otherwise appears to be, well, angrier, but mostly okay. So, this room's awash. Who wants to keep looking?
All right, let's go.
Not a complete wash.
Be
I mean,
careful about what we say.
diamonds.
All in favor of looking for a flight of stairs heading down?
oh, that's where all the diamonds went. It might be a good.
Quick point.
Hopefully
If-
the stairs will be better than the other stairs.
If there is a chance that there are more runes like this, and clearly they are triggered by common words, is there a language that we all share that we could possibly speak in to not make us explode?
Not unless you people speak Celestial.
I can speak Elvish and Gnomish and Orc.
Anyone here speak
Infernal?
Draconic?
Oh.
No.
I do.
Oh.
Okay, so we at least have 2 Draconics, 2... What did you say, Molly? Sorry?
I speak Common and Infernal. And Dwarvish, but no one here speaks Dwarvish, I don't.
I cast comprehend languages. Everyone speak in whatever tongue is not common, and I will understand it all.
I understand a few insults in Dwarvish.
Just to make sure we don't blow up, and you're all healing this in whatever native language. If you're Elvish, you get Elvish. If you're Draconic Dragon, you get Draconic. You're all hearing it in whatever language.
Okay. So Morley will speak in Infernal.
Gorga's
So-
going to speak in Orc just because.
I
Wait,
will
you
respond
cast,
in Orc.
you could. I did not realize comprehend languages was an area spell.
No. It's for myself. You guys speak whatever languages you want. I will respond in whatever languages
not
you're speaking to me
common.
in.
Yeah,
So
just-
basically, Talia has become the heart of the party.
Talia has become the translator just so we don't blow up because of another common word.
You're the operator switchboard.
Essentially, yeah.
Oh my gosh, this is like when people are being really passive aggressive. Talia, would you tell Ryan that I said...
No, I will not
As
tell her
you
that.
wish.
I will not tell them that. Me.
Sorry. I'm trying to figure out how Ryan sounds when they're speaking Celestial, and that sounded really passive-aggressive as opposed to dramatic intonement, but with a Rhinish accent.
I mean, I feel like Celestial would sound passive-aggressive anyway. They're gods. Kind of get that, actually.
In my headcanon, Celestial sounds very abrasive to a tiefling, and vice versa for infernal to a celestial.
Yeah, that's how I've always kind of pictured it in my
Your
head.
headcanon is literally canon.
Right.
Well, not always. Not always.
No,
because
no.
I'm not going to tell... Okay, sometimes I slip up, but when I'm thinking about it, I try not to tell the players how their characters feel.
So,
And I remember that comic that you've posted, Ellie, and no, no, we are not doing that.
Oh,
Okay, so then every time Ryan speaks, Morley's going to kind of wince, I think, from this. You know?
Yeah, Ryan and
Vice
Morley
versa.
sound like they're yelling at each other.
Yeah, that sounds like a great plan.
All right, let's continue.
Okay, so again, because Gorga's got the highest passive perception, Gorga, give me another perception check.
I hate it when he rolls a random dice.
Well, I have a
rolled 4
variety of
and got
scenarios.
a total of 12.
Okay. I have several scenarios that I've created, and because we're not doing the whole lengthy, okay, you see this hallway, do you want to go left, right, center, or whatever, I'm just picking which room you find after wandering by random. We're going to say...
No, that's fair.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it simultaneously speeds things up and slows things down. But speeds them
And
up more than
also
slows them down.
terrifies the player sometimes.
Oh, and also terrifies the player base, which is fantastic. I'm here for this content. You may resume crying. The assumption is that you ever stopped. But moving on, you come up to a door that is closed, and you see nothing off about it other than it's intact and closed, which is two things about a door that, up until now, was difficult to say both of those.
Do you desire me to try this first?
Yeah, as long as it's not me.
I love the changing character voice for Celestial.
Good.
I have to do 5 languages. I am not doing different voices for every language.
No, you don't have to.
Oh, no, that's fine. I've got like 3 voices. So
All right, please stand back. And Ryan will try the door. And also trying to do the dramatic intonement in Ryan's accent is super
works.
weird.
It works, though. It's like it sounds very Ryan.
An
you know?
Asimar speaking in Celestial when only one member of the party can even understand what's being said is by default super weird. So if it feels super weird to you, you're doing it right. Now, here's the question. How do you open the door? Do you go for the traditional turn the knob and push it open, or hit the latch and push it open, or do you go for a more dramatic, I'ma kick it?
I think I will kick it.
Yeah!
Okay, that wasn't quite the same feel from that chant that I got from a certain Kobold game with a different
trash
chant
elemental?
about a water elemental that wasn't made of water. But yes. Okay, give me a strength check then. I would also accept athletics. Athletics is fine.
I don't think D1 likes me anymore.
Okay, you have successfully put a Rhine boot-shaped boot print in a visibly sturdy door. No one looks at that and says, wow, the door's really weak. You'll be able to kick it. You will try?
I think I will try to open it normally now.
Okay. It's locked. It's locked, so you go and you jiggle the handle, and the toilet doesn't stop flushing.
Gorg, I think I require your assistance.
Okay.
I'm assuming we're assuming that Talia is translating everything that is being said.
Right.
Yes.
It would
yes.
take too long to.
Because it would take too long for
We
you
are,
to repeat.
we are not going to play
no,
Whisper
we're-
Down the Alley unless Talia decides, and let's face it, Talia would possibly decide this, unless Talia decides to run everything through a Talia filter and maybe not provide the exact information.
if Talia plans on doing that on something, and let's be honest, Talia will at some point, I will actually say something in between.
Okay.
Okay.
So you'll know when that's happening.
And because Talia is a conscious, living person, in game terms, we aren't getting Google Translate versions of the translation. At no point does Ryan say, "Hey, Gorga, we need you to open this door." And then Talia goes to Gorga and says, "This is Arizona." I have an umbrella.
So what, in fairness, if Talia said that, I would
Actually, watermelon!
what is an Arizona?
Which, by the way, is a fantastic video that you can find on YouTube. It's glorious, and it's a direct result of running This Is Halloween's lyrics through Google Translate possibly more times than anyone should. Or just the right number of times. Either way. Yes.
Okay, so my character sheet doesn't have thieves' tools, so that probably means I'm going to turn around and say, I don't seem to have a lockpicking set.
Thava sighs heavily and hands you hers. I want them back.
Mm.
All of them, by the way.
Oh.
When you open it up, you notice that each one is labeled.
Okay, so since I'm proficient, do I roll sleight of hand, or do I just roll a d20 and add my...
It would be sleight of hand.
Okay, I'm very good at sleight of hand.
Well, one would hope.
I got a nat 20 for a total of 26.
You're not quite sure you needed the lockpicks. And then you realize, oh wait, my fingers literally don't fit inside this lock. So yes, I did need them. But, okay. Thava holds out her hand for the lockpicks back.
I hand them back, very clearly disappointed in the fact that I'm giving them...
You're not giving them away, you're giving them back.
I mean, potato, potato.
Okay, keep an eye out for invisible traps.
Do not worry. Next time we are in civilization, I will buy you some tools of... I don't think that word translates as anything but an insult in Celestial.
Okay. So, when you open the door, you see the room contains a very large number of books and scrolls. There are multiple countertops in this room, and they are piled high with reading material. There is also a small bowl in a corner that's filled with more uncut diamonds. The uncut diamonds appear to be numerous enough here that this particular bowl is being used to hold a bunch of pens upright.
I do not think these are entirely trustworthy.
I would like to send my imp to the diamonds to check them out.
Okay. The imp goes to the diamonds and looks at the party, and looks at the diamonds, and looks at the party, and looks at the
Talia
diamonds.
just puts her hand up. May the odds be ever in your favor, dear.
The imp provides a hand gesture.
Does this not need translation?
That everyone in the party is certain is profane, but no one in the party has seen it before. On account of if anyone wanted to duplicate it, they would have to dislocate a knuckle or three.
Love you too, darling. Go on.
It closes its eyes, shields its face with one hand, reaches over with the other hand, and picks a single pen out of the diamonds, winces when there's a slight sound of diamonds settling in to fill in that space where the pen was, and nothing happens.
Well, that was anticlimactic.
It moves the fingers in its hand slightly apart to peek through them.
You're fine, love.
It literally can't die. Why is it so jumpy?
I mean, it technically can die. It will, if it's like not fire, which it's immune to, it will feel it, it will hurt, and then it will go back to the Nine Hells.
And the Nine Hells are not exactly a nice place.
No, but he is an imp, so, it's him.
He's part of why it's not a nice place.
Exactly.
Not even the people who live there want to be there.
Not immortal as in cannot die, but immortal as in can die over and over and over and over.
It was probably why he puts up with me.
At this point, the imp is just like pushing its hands to the diamonds and letting them pour out back into the bowl over and over again, like they're water.
Having fun, dear.
It gives you a thumbs up that still somehow looks profane.
It's an imp.
It is an imp.
I was gonna say it's an imp.
Right.
Like, it gives you a thumbs up, and your initial thought is, "You want me to do what? No."
You know, if I was trapping this chamber, I would probably want it to go off when someone took the things out.
Well, you would think that about the first trap we ran into, but that was apparently word triggered.
It's possible that this trap is not word triggered, but then it's possible that it is. The last trap was magical. This one might also be magical.
I mean, everyone out, and the imp
Fava,
will say dragon in common.
Fava, how about you not say anything until you actually have information, because you basically just said, this may or may not exist.
The point I'm...
I am not repeating that. I will giggle. Talia will giggle, and just say to Fava, "Good input."
The point I'm making, because Gorga, give me a deception check.
Okay. Not sure why, but I'm rolling. Oof. Will you accept a 10?
Oh, gladly. So the point I'm making, because I don't need a translator to translate Gorga's body posture, is that Horribin has likely trapped a lot of rooms, but likely not with the same trap in each. There might be a theme in some of the rooms, but there will definitely be some variety, because once you figure something out, then you know all the traps if there isn't variety. So the word dragon in here is probably fine.
If it is a common word, I would guess diamond.
Talia says dragon in common.
Nothing happens.
Okay.
So, what
Which,
I
by the way,
recommend...
you all didn't hear that it was common. You all just heard whatever languages I'm speaking to you in.
So, with that said, because ideally, from Horribin's point of view, a variety is going to be the spice of our deaths, we should be looking for mechanical and magical traps. So, spread out and look.
Okay.
How many doors are there out of the room?
Just the one.
Ryan
All
picks
right.
up a diamond, and Ryan throws the diamond out of the room.
That diamond is gone forever. Goes right down through the holes in the floor.
Gorga's gonna grab a few
Well,
more
that was a
diamonds.
waste
I think
of
I'll round up
diamonds.
my 12 just to an even 20 with that.
Morley's going to look
I
for
will-
mechanical things, like maybe it would be in a factory, or like some of the mechanics you see where the Weaving Guild.
Okay.
I'll
If
grab
you...
another 2 to round up to 20.
So here's what you're doing. If you're looking for physical traps, then it's a perception check. If
Okay.
you are looking for magical traps, it's an arcana check, unless you have some other ability to look for magic.
I have a
Gorga doesn't know anything
14
about magic,
for
so-
mechanical traps.
A 14
I
does
would
not
like-
reveal any traps.
Okay.
I got a 27 for perception, so 27 for non-magical.
How is the lighting in this room?
You brought your own.
I was just going to say, if it was a little dull, I would just dancing lights to help people without dark vision.
Yeah, so whatever my assumption is that whatever lighting you are using, you have brought yourself, because there's no artificial lighting here. It's not like I've been playing a lot of Skyrim lately, and I'm going through tunnels where in caves that have been sealed up for centuries, and I find like a lit candle. Like, okay, how tall was that when they left?
It was literally the entire thing.
I'll look for magical traps with Arcana.
Okay.
Ooh, that's not great. Could have been a lot better. That's a 13.
Okay, well, we can stop rolling because Gorga got a 27 looking for... Oh, wait, no. 27 looking for non-magical. I misread that. I forgot the non in there. So,
Yeah,
a
Gorga doesn't
13
know
looking
anything
for
about
magical.
magic, so she's doing her best.
23 from Ellie, though, for magical.
For who?
Ellie,
Ellie
Oh.
did a 23
she
for
posted
magical.
a picture of her
She
roll
nat
just about now.
20'd.
It sounded like you were saying Millie, and I'm like, but they're not in this campaign. that game's at 8:30. And also, I don't see Hero doing an Arcana check ever. Not well. So, yes, there is definitely something magical in this room. There is an effect that has not been triggered and is waiting to be set loose somewhere.
Can I do a check to see if something is being held together by string or yarn?
I'm going to tell you that with a 27 from Gorga in particular,
okay.
the room has been scoured and there are no mechanical traps here.
Got it.
There's no tripwires, there's no buttons to press. Whatever's in here is a magical effect that you cannot see whatever visual effect you would normally see from it being here, if in fact there was any visual effect that you would see before it gets triggered.
Has anyone cast any spells in here yet? It might be spell casting.
I'm casting dancing lights every minute.
Okay.
So if we haven't blown up yet, it's not a magic effect. It's at least not one triggered by a magical cast.
Well, unless y'all want to grab some diamonds, I think we're done with this room anyway. We don't have to find the traps. We just don't want to trigger them.
The diamonds are neither here nor there. The books
Speak for
are the
yourself.
treasure.
All right, I forgot about the books and scrolls. I'll take a
Well,
look
I'm
at those to see.
I'm
if any of
thinking
them
about from Harabin's perspective.
Oh, yes, you said he'd like to have information. Books.
Nagpa can only gather information from dead civilizations. It's how they gain all of their spells. It's how they gain all of their knowledge. They are physically incapable of learning any other way. That is a curse that the Raven Queen placed upon them. So these books...
Taught them to know the place.
These books are Harabin's treasure.
Should we set them on fire then?
I do like fire.
I mean, that would make him angry.
Do we
It
want
might
to-
draw him out.
It would
It
also
might
ruin the
trigger the
reselling
trap.
value for any of the books. But
Oh, but
I leave it
do
to
we
you.
want an angry whatever that is to come after us?
Just allow me to step out of the room before you set all the books on fire. And with that, Thava steps out of the room.
And Gorga isn't going to set the books
Sorry,
on fire
fun.
unless someone else tells her to, but she's definitely not opposed to the idea.
I would say set the books on fire if we knew that Horriban was still here. We don't. If we could we could potentially use them to draw him out, but we don't know. We don't know if he's even still here.
Fair.
I wouldn't.
Then I just won't bother.
What if we take one? If we
would
return,
like-
we may figure out taking one and come find out.
I would like to look at the books. What are the books? What are the subject matters?
A lot of the books are written in Draconic, but somebody cast comprehend languages.
Yay!
So, how long does that spell last?
An hour.
Okay, yeah, you're well within that time frame. No, sorry, you cast it 59 minutes and 55 seconds ago. So you pick up a book and it says a treatise on blah 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 blah. No, so a lot of the books are like topics that you personally probably would not be very interested in. There's books on agriculture. There's books on animal husbandry. There's books on the history of the Holy Roman Empire and how it was not holy, nor Roman, nor even an empire. There's one fascinating book on the history of cheese. And also there's a book that says Diary of Old Bob, Don't Read.
Go through that
You
list
should read the
again.
ones that don't read.
What?
What was that? No, I
I'm
get it.
sorry.
Most
what?
of them were like farming stuff, a couple of history books, and one that said Diary of Bob, Don't Read.
And this is
Old Bob.
a Nagpa.
Uh-huh.
Sorry, that's hurting my head a little bit. This seems like such random books for this thing to have or to want.
Have you translated for it? Told us what?
I would instantly say there's one about cheese, which is very strange.
The diary, by the way, the cover is written in common.
One about someone called Old Bob.
I see that
I'd say
one.
we should start with the diary.
Do they have
At
any
least
that are?
Thumb through a few different pages to see if there's
what-
anything
I'm
relevant.
curious. Do they
What's the
have?
Roman Empire?
I don't know, but I wonder if there's any books on like how other cultures. That would be exciting.
There's a farming book if you want that, but that's probably the closest you're going to get, dear.
I'll say there's probably a book on draconic textiles.
Interesting.
Oh, here, draconic
Does it have
textiles.
pictures?
It is heavily illustrated with diagrams for how they weave certain color threads together to make fabric.
Just
I
a
want to
warning,
take
it is
this one.
it is in
Take this one,
draconic.
yes. But it has the pictures. I can go from there.
Okay.
Marvelous.
I open
I
up
want to
Old
learn-
Bob's diary.
Okay.
And I'm
Now,
taking the
each
book.
page has a different date written on the top,
Morley, wait.
Why?
and
Because-
each entry is nothing but insults and profanities.
Because taking the book out of the room might trigger the trap. Hand me the book, I'll take it.
I skimmed
I'll take
through real
that.
quick.
Oh.
Is there
Every
anything
page.
Good plan.
Every page
Be
is a
careful.
different, unique collection of profanities. Now, you have cast comprehend languages, so you can read all of this. Old
Oh,
Bob
because
apparently
all of them are
has
in
learned a lot of languages and uses them. And based on your understanding, uses them prolifically and proficiently.
I put the diary in my bag.
Old Bob
Save
was
that.
quite the connoisseur.
Save that for later.
Old Bob was a sailor for a while.
Oh, from just reading this man was clearly a long-time sailor.
Okay, so, Ryan sets their jaw and steps out of the room while holding Morley's weaving book.
Nothing happens.
Alright.
Can I just say, this nagpa has got us all paranoid beyond belief.
And if he has any way of looking in on us magically, which he probably does, but the question is he? He might even be cackling at how nervous we're all right now.
Oh,
I'm not
guarantee you.
nervous. I am never nervous.
You just held a book and timidly walked out of the room thinking it would explode. Yeah, you're not nervous,
I'd
dear, at all.
rather it explode on me than on Morley.
My logic would have been to just throw the book. It's a book.
Chris.
It's not going to go through the holes.
Chris, reload Talia's character sheet and you will see the book. It's not
Please
called
tell me
Bob's
you got some
Diary.
profanities in it for me.
Better.
Aaron, you're my favorite person. You're my
so I'm going
favorite person on the
to-
planet.
I'm going to walk over to Ryan and say thank you for testing the book. That was
I
nice.
got
would like to have it.
I got a new
I
thing.
hand the book back to him.
And I put it in some.
Okay. Well, if you're not going to do anything with the books, and there's no other books that are of interest to you in here, Baba pours the diamonds into her bag of holding.
What is that?
There's a background noise. I could not hear you.
A bunch of static comes through a speaker from the distance. Not sure.
I think it's coming from Ellie.
It is coming from Ellie. Ellie, is your microphone okay?
Turn it off and back on again, Ellie.
Well, since Ellie's having technical difficulties and I think we're done with this room and we've been playing over an hour, how about we break now?
Just
so-
over an hour. Sure, let's take a short break, and we'll be back in a little bit, probably. We are back, and we're ready to play Durgens and Durgans.
Durgans and Gurgans.
Okay, because I thought we were
Pork
going to
chops
sing
and
sad
applesauce?
songs. So dirges
Oh.
and sturgeons. So sad songs about fish. Okay, so you have successfully walked out of a room that was full of books, taking a couple for yourself, but apparently just two. Thava did take all the diamonds that people didn't grab handfuls of and pour them directly into her bag of holding for later, but did not claim any of the books for herself. So, do we keep looking?
As we're walking, Talia's just reading her book.
Otherwise, I guess I'll continue the search, because Fava thinks that searching this building is the most productive outcome rather than chasing what's-his-name.
So, fascinating reading there, Talia.
Oh, very much so, dear.
Well, if our questing goes long enough, you might get to meet the author.
I'm holding you to that, you know, right?
He's a fascinating individual. A halfling, but not the jovial, happy kind that eats 15 meals a day.
No,
It's how much?
the angry hates the world kind, my kind of person.
Very much so. If he likes you, he'll call you names. If he likes you more, he'll insult your entire lineage.
Man after my own heart.
Can love blossom over a book of insults? Find out next week on As Circulus Turns. No, we're not doing that. We are not doing that. I refuse. Okay, moving forward. It would, in all honesty, it would not be the first time that one of Chris's characters ended up falling in love with one of my characters.
True.
Accurate.
Yes.
Those two are still happily married.
They are happily married. Even though their honeymoon was technically ruined.
Yes.
She completely wears the pants in the relationship.
Yes, they're made of plate.
Yep.
One does not aggravate a war priest. Just saying.
Nope.
Just saying before we move on. Okay. So it has come to my attention that Zuda also has a passive perception of 18. So for the sake of equal opportunity, I would like Zuda to roll this perception check.
Zuda said that her perception is mostly because of a feat, so it doesn't apply to her rolls.
I'm gonna ask Zuda to roll anyway.
Fair.
She brought that up.
Whoa.
Okay,
Not
well, we were saying...
Beyond likes you.
I guess.
You find an area that seems to be, like, when this factory was operational, it's possible that this area didn't have a lot of people coming to it then, either. There is dust on the layers of dust. There's, the metal looks like it hasn't been serviced or anything in quite some time. The whole factory is not very humid, but there's still a layer of corrosion because not very humid is not the same as being desert conditions. However, at one point you get to a door that is rather ornate. There are carvings. Well, not carvings. It's everything here is metal for the most part. But there is a low relief sculpture on this particular door of 5 different dragons of varying designs, all flying around a central point.
So
Does
a
someone
breath
not me wanna hit that
weapon's
with a hammer?
going to go out of that, huh? All right. Shall I try to open it?
I stand 30 feet away and say, go for it.
Thava stands 35 feet away, directly behind Gorga, and sort of drags Morley to stand 40 feet away.
Oh, okay.
Oh.
I give Fava the stink eye as she moves behind me.
You're just upset
Ryan.
because I did it first.
Ryan tries to open it.
Okay, it opens.
Interesting.
The door was not locked. You don't even see a locking mechanism.
All right then. I suppose we go in.
Okay.
You first.
Yes, me first.
Okay, so you go in, and it does not take a religion check to understand that you have just walked into a chapel. There are rows of low benches.
I think when
Sorry?
Talia says to who, and I was muttering, I think you're the only one who knows.
Well, Thava would know because Thava did her
right.
research. So the chapel is probably the most ornate room in this entire factory based on what you've seen so far. It's odd that this area is so disused. Now, with the door closed, it was sealed tightly enough that there isn't really a lot of dust in here. The room seems to be fairly clean. There's a little bit because it wasn't airtight, so there's a little bit of stuff in here, but not much. There's rows of benches that are all facing an altar at the front. There's sort of a faux architecture put in that is not structurally bearing. And I'm adding all of this on top of the natural 20 that was rolled for perception. So that's why I'm giving additional details about how it's not load-bearing architecture in here that makes the interior walls and ceiling look like they are actually part of a cave as opposed to the rest of the factory. And on the altar, actually, no, not on the altar, directly behind the altar, there's a bit of an alcove. And in it is about a foot-tall statue that appears to be made out of gold of a 5-headed dragon. Each of the heads is a different design, and each of the heads has gems embedded where the eyes should be. So there's the heads are all the same color, but one of the heads has pearl inlaid in for the eyes. One of them has sapphires. One of them has onyx. One of them has emeralds, and the fifth head has rubies.
Gorga's gonna check for traps and then try to look at prying the eyes out.
Perception check.
Did you tell me to roll something?
Perception check, because you're checking for traps.
Ooh, didn't roll that well. 15?
You do not see any traps.
Gorga, no.
They're gemstones, and no one lives here.
This is a chapel. Have some sense and do not start robbing it.
Whereas I would normally agree, this is a chapel to Tiamat.
Who?
I do not know who Tiamat is.
Dagnabbit, Daldane, I love this game so much.
Yes, that's...
Okay.
I just turned to Fava. You mentioned that. I forgot about that. Ironic.
Explain.
Tiamat is a 5-headed dragon goddess of the chromatic dragon flights.
Huh.
Currently trapped in the 9 hells.
Oh, she's in the 9 hells, so that means she's an evil god, so all the more reason to rob this place.
But apparently
All the
someone
more
made a
reason to not rob this place.
But apparently someone made a wish and the whole planet forgot about it. About her. Thankfully I wasn't on the planet when that wish was a thing, so...
Look, I would like to be very clear with you right now. This is not a moral objection. This is a don't do some fool thing that...
Gorga robbed the place.
Gorga will take her best bet at which pair of gemstones is the most valuable and try to pry them out.
Oh, okay. Ryan is not happy with you, Gorga.
You're going to pick up Gorga?
Have some fun.
I think that would be a grapple check.
I think it would be too.
What do I roll?
Give me a strength check, and Gorga's going to give me either strength or dexterity. I'm assuming it's going to be dexterity.
Yeah, I have a negative bonus to strength, but I'm pretty good at dex, so yeah.
So yeah.
Is this the second time I'm going to cast Whole Person on one of Eo's characters?
Nat 20! Nat 20!
I rolled an 18 for 22, so we both rolled high.
Both rolled high, but a 22 is not going to beat a nat 20.
Amusingly, the nat 20 was also a 22, since it was a straight strength check.
You're even.
So, yes, but I'm going to make the argument that a nat 20 will beat any unnatural roll that's over 20.
Right.
So here's the real question. How does Rhine pick up Gorga? I'm assuming it's not a princess carry.
Nope. Sort of bunches. I don't know what Gorga's wearing for armor, but
leather.
Does Gorga have a backpack?
Yes.
Ryan basically picks
you grab it by
Gorga
the little loop at the top.
The straps. I am going back to common. I am talking in common. I do not want to do this through translation. Gorga, we all got brought back from the dead by a god. What fool impulse is in your head that's making you think robbing temples is a good idea?
Because this god is trapped in the 9 hells, dear. Trapped, not there willingly.
Most temples aren't enchanted.
Again.
Thaba coughs nervously.
We are not fooling around with divine stuff.
Oh, try and stop me. Talia goes to take the eyes.
Okay.
I will stop you.
Well, right now you currently have your hands full, literally holding a water genasi that used to be an elf over your head by her backpack.
I cast Hold Person on Ryan.
Do ya?
Okay. What does Ryan need to roll?
Wisdom 14.
Wisdom. Okay.
Uh-oh.
I have a high wisdom.
Oh, right. I got it confused.
Yeah, this isn't Chroma.
That's another nat 20.
Okay, so the Hold Person washes over you like water.
I'm still going for the eyes.
Talia.
And at this point, you got 2 people that want to loot it. You are holding one of them, and we'll have to put that one down to get the other one.
Yep.
Ryan, would you like me to...
Thava holds Morley back. Let them settle it themselves, dear.
I'm gonna say,
Okay.
fine, I won't rob the statue, and I rolled an 11 on my deception check because Gorga's intention is to wait till they're not looking and then rob the statue.
I have a passive insight of 12. That does not make it.
Talia's still
Okay.
going for the eyes.
Talia.
Nope, you're not. You're not my mother, dear. I am over. How much? 300? 300 years old? Yep. I am almost 400 years old. You're not my mother. I will do this as I please.
So it's been stated Talia's going for the eyes. Normally you're supposed to go for the body, but I guess Talia's going for the eyes in this case. So, Ryan, you're either stopping Talia or you're not. What do you do? Words are if you keep
I'm going
talking,
to try to
Talia's
stop
getting the
her.
eyes. Okay. How do you do that?
I'm going to try to get in the way.
Okay.
I am more than happy to do this dance all night long.
Well, I
Not
think
a
dance is the right word to use. I'll say both of you roll dexterity checks for me to see if Talia can dance around Ryan.
Ugh.
7?
Remember how I have
A minus in your dex?
dexterity?
Yes.
So I,
Did you roll negative?
That was not a nat 1. That was not a nat 1.
But it was a 1.
But it's a
No,
1.
but it
though.
was a 1.
So this is probably the least graceful that anyone has ever seen Talia, with a 7. There may have been a little bit of tripping. There may have been some stumbling. There may have been at least one foot stepped on by the other foot. And somehow Talia still manages to get around Ryan to be directly in front of the statue. Now, what do you
know
do
what?
that you're there?
Fine. Ryan walks away.
Is Ryan still holding Gorga?
No, she
Ryan had to
down.
put Gorga down to do all this.
They, not she.
Then Gorga's gonna take her best guess at which set of eyes is most valuable and start by trying to try them out first.
Yeah, I'm looking around the statue, just making sure that there's no bad things that are going to blow up in my face.
I already looked for mechanical traps, didn't find anything. But I
I'll
know
look
nothing
for
about
magical
magic.
traps.
Okay, give me an
I'll look for
Arcana
magical
check.
Ooh, not bad. 19.
Okay, yeah, there's definitely some magic in this room. Now, what it is, you don't know. You'd have to cast a spell to discern more, but you know that there's definitely some type of enchantment going on in here. It
Gorga,
could be the
hold on a
consecration
second.
for the temple, but it might not be.
Does anyone have to detect magic?
I hate magic. If I had a wish spell, I'd get rid of all magic.
You'd use magic to get rid of
To get
magic.
rid of the magic. Interesting. No, I don't have anything.
Is the god of magic so powerful they can delete themselves?
I
Interesting
don't know, but I'm
philosophical
willing
question.
to give it a shot.
It's far too early in the morning for philosophy. Does anyone have detect magic? Anyone?
No.
I mean, I do, but I'm saving my spell slots for combat.
This is kind of good combat, actually, but it seems fun.
You and I both know how it
Come
would work. There's magic here somewhere. I can sense it.
Oh, I'm joking. I can cast it at will.
Oh, even better. Would you mind?
Falva casts it and says, yep, there's magic.
What kind and where?
Well, that's the funny thing. It's not a specific kind. It's just magic. Now, I can tell you it's all centered on that particular statue that you have such interest in.
Gorga slumps her shoulders in defeat.
Wouldn't slump in defeat. That makes it a little more interesting, if anything.
Go ahead.
It's not. There's no specific type.
No,
Intriguing.
it's jumbled.
Logic, one would assume that would mean it's a bit of everything.
Well, so imagine, if you will, that detecting magic was like looking at a drawing. And like evocation magic might be blue and necromancy might be black. And if it was everything, it'd be like looking at a children's drawing when they're given a new box of crayons. This isn't that. The more I look at it, the more it changes. It's not staying still long enough to be identified.
But magic can't shift like that.
Magic can. Magic does. Sometimes.
Not to that extent, though, surely.
My advice is to leave it alone. But I'm not going to take the Rhine tact of carrying people because I'm not a strength-based character. Do
Also,
what
you
you wish.
kind of respect choice.
Well, choices have consequences. We all know about consequences. And you know,
Yes.
more than most, that I know about consequences. So do what
Yes.
you choose to do.
With the knowledge that there's magic around the statue, Gorga gives up her crusade to loot the eyes. But she's very clearly not happy about it.
I don't want to steal it anymore. I want to study it. I less want to steal and sell it and more learn from it.
Even if the statue is hollow, which it might be to save money, but even if the statue is hollow, you could probably sell it for at least 500 gold. The gems that are in it are not necessarily full-size gems. They have been chiseled down to be eye shapes.
Yeah, but
this was a few feet tall, which means that it would be hard to move around.
It is 1 foot tall.
The second you start talking about magic weaving in and out and changing, Talia stopped caring about the actual worth of the statue monetarily and more cared about the worth magically. Could we put it in your backpedaling?
Can I just say, for the sake of the recording, LFA has a wonderful comment. This is the most complicated and ridiculous game of somewhat stationary keep away I've ever seen. I mean, if you can successfully take it out of the chapel, then certainly. But I'm not going in there while you're touching it.
Rhyme sort of crosses their arms and leans back and looks at Thava and goes, "By the way, what does divine magic look like?"
We'll talk later.
Glitter?
Also, I was thinking. Alright, everyone out of the chapel.
It's everywhere. Shiny. Yeah, that sounds like divine magic.
Everyone out of the chapel, and I get the imp to pick it up and try and bring it out of the chapel.
I think it's the imp.
Okay. Your imp is not very strong.
I thought the statue was big.
To roll and try at a -2 modifier.
Oh, I'm not going to require a roll. It's a bit to heft it, but it's not held on to the surface that it's resting on. So you are able to lift it up.
Oh, I thought it was a big statue.
It is. It's a foot tall. A foot tall made of metal is kind of big.
I missed the actual size of it.
Okay,
come on,
so
dear.
Let's take a look at this wonderful thing. Chris, could you do me a big favor and roll a d10 for me?
Okay. I did tell everyone to get out. Did everyone get out?
Yes.
I think Thava pulled Morley out at the beginning of it.
I've been out since I failed the deck.
Okay. The chart that I'm looking at has a wonderful header. Would you like to know what the header is?
Sure.
99
Wild magic.
That's even worse.
Oh, so interesting.
Well, if we accidentally open up a portal to the shadow plane, we can just close some curtains.
Unicorn.
Congratulations, you are turned into a unicorn. But because you only have 2 legs, you're just the first half of the unicorn. You bleed out.
Wow.
No.
That's dark.
That went from mystical to just dark.
Okay, so here's what happens. As soon as you pick the statue up, there's a noticeable, like, you know how if something's been sitting on a surface that was shellacked or something for a while, when you pick it up, there's sort of a sudden change in resistance level when you break it off?
Yeah.
That's what you feel. And then suddenly everything feels...
the imp feels.
Oh, no, the imp can't move it. The imp goes to move it.
I wasn't going to touch it.
Okay. The imp goes up to move it, and it just flexes a whole lot and makes it very obvious that the imp has, in fact, been skipping leg day for a significant amount of time, and you're supposed to lift with your legs. And the imp does, except for the whole actually lifting part. It doesn't budge. It's probably weighing 3 or 4 times the imp's weight.
You had one job.
It says to Infernal that its one job is to provide a variety of profane hand gestures on a regular basis. And it's been doing that quite well, thank you.
I'll give you credit. You do that very well.
For variety, it gives you a hand gesture with one of its feet.
How do your toes curl like that? It's weird.
It gets a very puzzled expression and looks down at its foot, looks up at you, and just shrugs.
I would like to come back here at some point. Not right now, but potentially when we have the means to move that thing, because it is magically intriguing. I would like to study it at some point.
It's a shame that I don't get to read what happened. Oh well, that's fine. Wonder for another day.
Yeah, for another day, because Talia is adamant she's coming back here.
Because Talia decided to be wise. Dag nabbit.
Now, Talia wasn't touching that thing. That's why she sent the imp.
Okay.
That's why I wanted to put it in a bag of holding.
Yeah, it's only a foot tall, but it is based on the imp's results. It is most likely made of solid metal. So it's not just like a lot of the statues that were made after the Civil War of the horrible people that fought for the Confederacy. They break very easily because they were very cheaply made and they're hollow castings to save a lot of money. This is not cheaply made. All right. So you continue exploring and you find another flight of stairs that go down. So of course you go down because maybe that's where the diamonds ended up. And you get to a point where you're no longer you're no longer seeing floors below the floor you're on. There's still that same grading, but that grading is above stone. So if there's any levels below this, you don't know. And you come up to an area that appears to be the only real room on this level. There's plenty of pipes that go deeper into the ground and stuff, but there's no access points for any of them. But there is one room close to the center here, and it has a large, simple door sitting over there in the corner. It's been ripped off. From the inside, it looks like. Accidentally, possibly, who knows. And inside, I'm going to say that without any of you without any of you going through the door, inside, there is some type of roughly spherical object, mostly obscured through large gouts of steam. And that's where we're going to end it for today.
Oh.
All right.
Thank you, everyone, for playing. Thank you, everyone, for listening. Tonight, I've been joined by a bunch of awesome people, including Chris, Ellie, Io, Jen, Cindy, Arshbeth hanging out in chat, LFA hanging out in chat. Let's do a few quick plugs. So, going down the list, and I am looking at a screen that is not showing me my plugs, so darn it. So Chris has a fortnightly recorded podcast, AzerosCTC.com. Ellie, and dang it, I have that closed. Aaron, you had one job. I know. Ellie codes, and Ellie has a Cobalt adventure generator that she coded up, which is incredibly cool. node.noel.codes/cobalt. Check it out. I can go into more detail. I frequently do, but check that out, and a lot of it's explained there. Io's mom writes books. You can get those at elizabeth-mccoy.com. Jen has a blog and podcast. You can get that at bookofjen.net. Cindy is awesome. We have a Patreon, patreon.com/cogwheelgaming. Help us keep the lights on, along with other illustrious patrons, including Chris, Ellie, Eric, Janatalock, Mickey, Shen, and Walter. And until next time, this is Crash saying, it's probably that half sphere that's on the moon that you can use to control whatever celestial body it's embedded in. So now you can steal Circulus around. And the kobolds can steer the moon around, so you can race them.
No.
Or maybe not. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.